Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan83. Of course, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. The Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And do not forget that you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Simply tell your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan. The New England Patriots win last night. They dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers, as a matter of fact. Look, you want to know my response to this? Boring. Yawn. Another Patriots win. Another year they start 1-0. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that even I said would be pretty good this year. I felt they could win 10 or 11 games. I felt the Ravens could win 10 or 11 games. I felt the Browns could win 10 or 11 games. We'll get to that later on. And you know, you wonder because, as I've said so many times, it's week number one. No reason to really freak out. I think that's why sometimes the ratings don't necessarily go up. Another story, another time. Till the middle of the season, things start picking up. You know, divisional races start taking shape. Playoff races start taking shape. Teams are trying to get home field advantage, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things that I've talked about with the New England Patriots over and over again is while it is good for their brand, it's good for their players, it's good for their organization, it's good for their coaches and their part of the country, I don't know that it's good for the NFL on a whole that the New England Patriots continue to win the way that they do. Look, I respect Tom Brady. I respect Kraft. I respect Belichick. I respect Gronkowski. I respect the legacy players at that time that when they first got started with some of the guys that were there that made the culture what it is now, right? They made it what it is now. And really it began even before that with Ben Coates and Drew Bledsoe and Curtis Martin. And, you know, then, of course, we saw it develop into what it is now. And it's just a culture that demands they win. They've been to 9 Super Bowls. They've won their division, 10 years in a row now. They've been to the AFC Championship game how many times? I mean, even Peyton Manning, when Denver beat them their first time on their way to a Super Bowl, he said, oh, you could name this game after these guys. They're here every single year. And it's just nauseating. It's nauseating, and it loses the aspect of sport that we are all intrigued by, and that is the wonderment of what is going to happen. Predictability sucks. You don't like waking up and going, why do I need to watch the NBA? Because the Golden State Warriors are going to play whatever team LeBron James is on for an NBA Finals, right? And so this year, I've said that the NBA is probably more open because of all the things that happened during this offseason than it has been in a very long time. You don't like waking up to college football and going, you know, the thing about it is it doesn't really matter what everybody else does. They're going to end up playing Clemson and Alabama in a playoff who are going to end up playing each other for the national title again, and that's all there is going to be to that, right? It's upsetting because you think to yourself that my team is going to put in all the work or another team is going to put in all the work, and it just really won't matter. And look, there's nothing wrong with having villains, right? Batman needed the Joker, and the Joker eventually became more popular than Batman over the course of time. We've seen, with Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson and the screen character that it is, and, of course, everybody with the great anticipation of the new Joker movie that's coming out, which, by the way, we're going to have a psychologist on September the 26th, to talk about the psychology of Joker. I'm looking forward to that. But the bottom line is, as much as all that is needed, the Patriots may need to be the villain, and people will watch them play to see them lose. After a while, you don't even think to yourself that they're going to lose. Look at how they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are a football team that has some names and some players. Juju Smith-Schuster, Ben Roethlisberger, James Conner. Defensively, they are expected to be tough every single season. People believe that division with the Browns and Bengals and Ravens and Steelers is supposed to be the toughest defensively year in and year out, in the NFL every single season. And what happens? 42-year-old quarterback just runs roughshod all over your defense. He throws it to whoever, however, whatever play they wanted to run, basically they were successful. And defensively, they stifled you at every conceivable aspect of the game. And so it just makes you wonder, are the Steelers that bad, or is it just New England continuing to dominate in the NFL? It gets to a point where you literally get nauseated thinking about the Patriots. And I just don't know that it's really good for the NFL anymore for them to continue to be dominant. Same way I don't think it's good for college football anymore for Clemson and Alabama to continue to be dominant. There's no such thing as trickle-down economics in the NFL. If the New England Patriots are a dominant football team, who else does that really give any type of financial stability to? It's for them and for their organization alone. And a part of me, and look, I'm just going to be flat out honest about this. A part of me wishes that Tom Brady would just retire so that way the rest of the NFL could have a shot. You know, I hate to break it to people, but it was actually good for Michael Jordan to lead the game of basketball for a little while. When he went to go play baseball, I think that was actually really good for the NBA. It was. Because I firmly believe that Jordan would have won 8 titles in a row. It's conceivable. I mean, after all, he wins back-to-back, 3 titles in 2 separate instances. He leaves with 6. When it all was said and done, was it really good for the NBA for Michael Jordan? I mean, if that guy could have played at this level till he was 42 or 43 and got teams to championships, do you think that would have really been good for the NBA? I don't think so. As much as I love Michael Jordan, it wouldn't have been good for the NBA. And I don't think that it's good right now for the NFL. I watched that game last night, and I literally was just kind of halfway paying attention to it, and finally I was done. At halftime, I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to bother. There was no point. It was obvious that Pittsburgh simply does not stack up against the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are doing what they're supposed to do. That's win football games and win championships. That should be the goal of every organization. Not the rumors right now that are going around with the Miami Dolphins about how supposedly the coaches are tanking the team on purpose so that way they can try and go after Tua in the NFL draft this year. The rumors that surrounded the Indianapolis Colts so that way they tanked, so that way they could get Andrew Luck. The rumors that surrounded the Philadelphia 76ers so that way they could get the athletes that they have. And they were supposedly tanking. It's not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to just win football games, period. And that's what they're doing, and they're the best at it right now in the NFL. And they may be the best that we've ever seen, period. I mean, can you name another dynasty as great? Sure, the Dallas Cowboys in the early, mid-'90s. Dallas Cowboys in the late 70s. Do those even begin to equate? Do they even begin to equate? The Pittsburgh Steelers, right? What was it, 4 titles in 6 years, something like that? Do they even begin to equate what is going on right now with the New England Patriots? And I know a lot of people are going to say it's a different time frame and it's a different way the ball game is played, and a lot of people believe that these rules and all these changes that have happened have been to benefit the New England Patriots. They've never been to benefit the Patriots. They've been to benefit the offense because the league officials believe that games where we see last year with the Rams and the Chiefs, those type of games where 2 teams score in the 40s and 50s, are the most entertaining to the public. Once in a while they are, but every single game like that, I don't think so. Look, the bottom line here is I'm not hating the Patriots for doing what they're supposed to do and win football games. I'm just tired of the New England Patriots and their consistency and how good they really are. I mean, what's left to say about New England? What am I going to legitimately say about this football team, about how they plug and play all these guys, even all the years that they've got injured, all the different times that Brady's had to figure out different targets and they've had to work this system with these guys that they have, and these guys are all getting injured defensively and they still figure out a way to win football games? How am I supposed to continuously break down the same scenario every single season for this football team? And forget about what's going on with Antonio Brown and all that stuff happening. They look good without him. They're just fine. Do they really need him? No, but again, their job is to win, and if the best available receiver is out there, then they are supposed to go and get the best on-field available receiver. Now, is he going to have to fall in line and all that kind of stuff has been talked about ad nauseum by other journalists. I'm not going to get into it. The bottom line is this. I'm a little tired of it. I'm not sure how good it is for football anymore, and it appears for the moment that they have not lost a step and that the NFL is still very clearly their league until somebody comes in and hits them in the mouth and say, no, it's ours now. I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. The Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Don't forget you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Simply tell your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.